In this video, I want to have a look at how to make a magic ring or a magic circle, which is how most amigurumi projects start. So we're going to take our yarn and lay it over our fingers like this. We're going to bring the yarn behind our fingers, behind the first three, and then pull it back up to the top and cross it over there. Then you can turn your hand and bring it back down the other side of your fingers and hold it in place with your pinky. So we've got the two pieces of yarn parallel on this side and crossing over underneath. Now, bringing your hook, we're going to go underneath that first piece of yarn and over the top of the second one. Use your hook to grab hold of it and bring it through. Now, as we bring it through, we're going to scoop it up with our hook and spin our hook around as well. So now it looks like this, looped over the top of your hook there. Now we're going to go over the top of this straight piece of yarn again and grab hold of the same piece of yarn we just grabbed. So we're coming at it from this direction instead. I'm turning my hook sideways, going underneath that yarn, and then I'm going to straighten it back up again. Now I'm going to turn my hook so that my hook grabs hold of my yarn again, and I'm going to pull this piece of yarn through this loop that's already on my hook. So pulling it through the bottom there, and now our knot looks like this here. So now we've got that, I'm going to use my finger to hold it in place, and I'm going to take my fingers out. And that is the start of our magic ring. Now I'm going to take the tail, and you can see that the tail is kind of twisted round and round here. You can untwist that if you'd like, don't have to. I tend to do it just because it looks a little bit neater. All right, now what happens next will depend on the pattern. For amigurumi, a lot of them will say 6 single crochet into a magic ring. So what you want to do now is take your working yarn, figure out how you're going to hold it, whatever works for you, and then grab onto these 2 pieces here of our magic ring. When we're doing this, I like to have my finger on top of the loop that's on my hook. And what that does is, as we're working on it, it stops it all spinning around the hoop and getting all twisted. Sorry, spinning around the hook and getting all twisted. So keeping my finger there, I'm going to now put my hook inside the circle, underneath that yarn, and then I'm going to go over the top of our working yarn, grab hold of it, and pull it back in through the circle. So I now have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to adjust the grip with my left hand now so that I'm holding onto both sides of the circle. So I'm going to grab there and I'm going to grab the other side as well. That helps me hold everything in place again so it stops twisting. Now I'm going to do the second part of this stitch, which is I'm going to go underneath my working yarn, twist my hook around, and then I'm going to pull it through those 2 loops that are on my hook. So that there is my first single crochet into my magic ring. I'm going to do this 6 more times to make 6 single crochets in a magic ring. So I've just readjusted my grip on my yarn. I'm going to hold on to the side of my the side of my magic ring, pop my hook into the circle, over that yarn, and pull it back through the circle. Now I have 2 loops that I'm going to hold on to. I'm going to adjust my grip to hold on to both sides here. Then I'm going to go underneath, turn my hook, and pull it through both of those loops. So now if I have a look at what I've done, you can see 2 V shapes there. That's my first stitch and my second stitch. So I'm going to need 4 more. So again, you can adjust your hand if things have come loose. I'm going to grab hold of that double yarned piece of my circle, through my circle, around and over the top, and pull that yarn back through the middle of the circle. So I've got 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to hold on to both of those now to keep everything steady, going around, turning my hook, and pulling it through those stitches there. All right, 3 more. So when you think you've got enough, we're going to look at the top of our row of our stitches and just check that we have 6 of those V shapes there. So that's our stitches. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 up there. So now that we have our 6 stitches in our magic ring, we need to pull that tight. So you can drop your working yarn now and just grab hold of that tail. Hold on to your stitches up here with your pointer and your thumb, and we're going to pull on our tail of our yarn, and you can see it's closing that loop there. So as it gets tighter, it's going to pull those stitches round and make them into a little circle. Now, if you're working with 100% cotton yarn, it's usually quite tough. You can pull on that quite tight to get that hole shut really tight. If you're working with acrylic and you pull too hard, it might just snap the yarn. So you just need to be careful with what you're working with. All right, so that's having a look at how to do a magic ring to start your amigurumi project.